Hey everybody, it's Craig Beckta here from howtoplaytheguitarhq.com. Today we're going to be talking about setting up a Gibson Les Paul. So I've just changed the strings on this, and I want to do a few checks to make sure that everything's set up the way it should be as per the factory specs. So a couple things that you're going to need, and in the last video I called these duck bills and they're actually cutters. So my bad, but anyway, there's a couple things that you're going to need. I use a feeler gauge. I got this at the local hardware store. Home Depot would have them. And basically what you use this for is to just sort of measure the gap. Using a piece of paper could also work too if you don't want to get one of these. Also, this is a capo or a capo, and I'll show you how to use this in a second. And then also you need a very accurate ruler, and this is a 64th ruler, so it's very, very accurate. And you're going to use this for measurements. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is once you've got the strings on and you've got it tuned, so basically you want it tuned to whatever it is. So if you like playing in E flat, then you want to set up your guitar for E flat. If you want to in standard tuning, that's cool too. And if you do a lot of drop D tunings, you want to make sure that maybe you have a heavier gauge string. This set here is 46 to 10. And if I was going to do a lot of maybe E flat or drop D stuff, I might go up to a 52 on my low E. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to check the measurements. And what I want to do is I want to see what the distance is between the string and my 15th fret. And it should be around 5/64 on the low E. So I'm on the 15th, and I've got the wrong side of the ruler. You can't even see it, and yeah, I'm exactly 5. And then it's a little different on the high E. It's about 3/64. So let me say that again. It's 5/64 for the low E at the 15th fret, and 3/64 at the high E. So once you have that, that's cool. That's what you want. But if it's not where you want it, you would adjust this piece right here. So this is basically where you put your strings through here, and then this is adjustable. So you would adjust this up or down to get that measurement in. Now the next measurement you want to do is you want to check to see the bow or the relief of the neck. And let me just say that I'm not a luthier or I don't work with Gibson, so that's my little disclaimer. Just take these with a grain of salt, but this is what I've been doing for years, and it works. So if you're really feeling unsure about doing some neck adjustments, then maybe you want to take it to a guitar technician. But if you're going to do it yourself, just make sure you make small little movements. So let's say I was going to change something with my truss rod. I would just tweak it. Here's a truss rod tool for Gibsons, and this is what it looks like. I would just put it on, and I would just give it a tiny little turn. And then I would measure things again after about 10 minutes. And then if it was still too much bow, either if you put on too tight a string, you'll find that your neck warps this way. And if you find that you don't have enough tension, if your strings are too light, then you're going to find that you'll have some buzzing here. So you really want to do that properly and make small adjustments when you do that. So what you want to do is you want to fret it at the 1st fret, and you want to fret it at the 15th fret. So I've got a capo on this fret here, and I'm holding it down with my finger on the 15th, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a feeler gauge, and what you really want to do is just sort of see if there's a little bit of a gap. Now, a piece of paper, if it fits in there, that's fine. I like it a little bit higher myself, and so I've got a 5 thou gauge on my feeler gauge, and that's pretty good. I usually like to make it about 8, so let's go for 8 thou. So here's 8 thou on my feeler gauge, so that's 0.008. And so I've got that pressed at the 1st and the 15th, and at the 7th fret, I'm checking, and the 8th goes pretty good. So I could actually tighten this neck up. And then what you want to do if you're really not sure is just turn it one way, see how it goes, and if you realize you went too far the wrong way, turn it back. Because I don't want to quote which direction, because depending if you're playing a different guitar, it may be different for your guitar. So make sure you do some experimentation. If they have some instructions with the guitar, then refer to those. But like I said, make those truss rod adjustments, make them very tiny, because you don't want to go too far with that. So let's just recap. So you put the strings on, you've got it tuned the way you want it, you check it at the 15th fret, and it's 5/64 and 3/64. You fret it at the 1st and 15th, and you check your gap at the 7th fret. Now I like it to be about 0.008, or you can use a piece of paper, and if it fits in there, that's fine. So once you've got those measurements too, you're also going to want to measure your pickup height. Now, this is going to vary slightly. There are some standards that come from the factory, but as long as your strings aren't hitting these pickups, you could always raise it a little bit in order to get a little more volume. So that's something that is kind of a personal preference, and I don't really use my neck up pickup that much. But anyway, that should get you sort of in good territory as far as playing without buzzing. Now, when it comes to setting your intonation, I'll do another video on that. So I'll see you in the next video.